Phil is poking around right now. Guys, we're here, Emergency Poker Live Podcast, Thursday night edition. Phil Galfond. I've been doing Galfond Challenge recap videos. Today, he pulled up. He was up money. He was down $900,000, 25,000 hand challenge, 20,000 hands in. Phil Galfond finally got back to even. Unfortunately, he ended the session down 2 buy-ins, down 40K, but he got back to even. People are excited. People are having a good time. Everyone on Twitter is getting really pumped up. And I had to get in touch with Phil. Like I said, Phil, we got to talk more about this. We got to see how things are going. And Phil joining us live here. Phil, how's it feeling, man? Last time we spoke, right, you were coming back with the challenge, and now you've made back $900,000 in about 3 weeks or so.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's gone. It's gone as well as I could hope. You know, I was hoping when I came back from the break that I would make back I'd build some momentum, maybe make back half of what I lost. I still felt pretty good about my game at that point, and it's obviously gone better than that, and even quicker than it happened very fast. Phil, so I feel good. I'm tired, but good.
Yeah. What is these three? So you're playing 5-6 hours, 5 days a week now. So what has that schedule been like in terms of with you and with Farah? And we saw your coach, by the way. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Phil revealed one of his coaches he's working with, young Spencer, your son there. So how you feeling right now? I mean, it's got to be super overwhelming trying to worry about everything that's going on with your family, with the business, with coronavirus, and battling against this kid at high stakes heads up PLO with your legacy and your reputation on the line.
Yeah. I mean, you said it perfectly. It's a lot. And, it's tough. It's tough on Farah because, we're stuck inside. She's got to entertain the baby all day while I do this. And so I try to help out whenever I can get a break from playing. I like to do a little bit of studying, but not as much as I was before, just because I she needs me. They need me.
Right. So you during the time off though, right? People want to know sort of what happened during that time off. How did you go from a guy that was down $900,000 to a guy that is able to make all that money back, right? That's what people out there seem to be wondering. That's the number one question I'm getting out there, in addition to a few others. But what was the secret? What was kind of happening? Because people out there are so curious about this, Phil.
I mean, look, there's always going to be variance is always going to play a role. I do think I had like an epiphany of sorts during the break. I wasn't really doing any work that I hadn't done before the challenge and during the challenge. There was nothing new that I was doing, but I don't know. I think a big problem that I had at the beginning of the challenge was I was trying too hard to emulate what I've been learning in the solver. And during the break, I was playing a lot on stars, and I kind of and I was playing smaller, and so I experimented with some different stuff, and I don't know, I kind of found that playing more like, not even playing like my old self, but thinking more like my old self made a huge difference. Right. I think I was trying too hard to keep up with the times. And, today everybody's using these solvers. They're playing optimally. You can't read them. This is their range. And you need to do the same. Otherwise they're going to pick you apart. And it's just not the case. And I think what I was struggling with a lot was, flop comes down. I say, okay, what do I want to do with my range? What's this hand want to do? Mm-hmm. And then I bet he calls turn hits. Okay, so this is in the top 30% of my range, blah, blah, blah. I stopped thinking about all of the other things besides that. And I think that kind of resuming, I don't know, being more like my old self, I think made a very, very big difference.
Yeah, so what you're explaining, right, is sort of what happens when people start studying a lot with the solver is that it really makes you think about poker differently, right? Because you sort of, we came up one way, and the way that the solver breaks down the optimal strategies in a heads-up format is much different than how we came up thinking about it. So as you're trying to reprogram your mind, you don't really exactly know how to implement the strategy or implement the mindset, because as you said, right? So what the solver does, right? It tries to output these balanced range in all these different situations that you're going to end up in. And how it balances itself is it includes these hands that you would not intuitively include according to what we sort of came up understanding. And when you're trying to implement that sort of understanding into your game, it can be a struggle to really wrap your head around because your mind wants to go the other way. And you didn't really have a ton of strategy, a ton of work doing this in the past. So with this first Veni Vidi match, this was the first time that you really got to get in there and get in the mix. And you didn't really have any days off to sort of regather your mind or rethink about it and say, okay, like here's probably what's happening. And then once you got out there and you got to take a few days off and the pressure wasn't on you to play other people on PokerStars, then it was like, okay, well, let me get back to how I'm thinking, right? It doesn't need to be this way. And that's sort of been my understanding from talking with you and trying to feel what took place in terms of strategically, how did you change? Because the strategy you've been doing definitely has changed.
Yeah. So I think like the big shift was using the solver as an educational tool, but not a guide,
right.
not a roadmap, you know? Use it to learn, to understand things that you didn't previously understand. But at the end of the day, the spots get so obscure in PLO that if all you're doing is trying to guess what a solver would do, you're just going to make big mistakes.
Right.
And you know, the way that I used to think about poker, and like we all used to think about poker, it's not perfect, but it's not bad. And like, there's a reason that I don't know, that humans think about things the way that humans think about it, because thinking about it the way a solver thinks about it is sometimes unnatural. And,
right.
And so like, I think that I was doing too much guessing what the solver would do. And rather than coming up with what I thought I should do based on like the things I used to think. And so it's not that I think I know better than the solver. It's not that at all. It's that using like my mental framework rather than just kind of blindly guessing something that I don't fully understand.
Right.
I think is just working a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, I think you take a look at the action for me going over these hands closer, and then from studying a lot since, because I was doing commentary on the Galfond Challenge, and I was like, well, I can't go on here sounding like an idiot, man. And plus, I'm watching this high stakes action. I'm getting inspired again. I'm like, my God, it's like this is what it was like, man. This is that feeling.
It's fun, yeah.
A lot of people had that. All the people have been talking about that too on Twitter. They've been saying it's bringing back that inspiration. Like, wow, hey, maybe we should try to become one of the best again, right? Like maybe that pursuit's still possible, and maybe we should try to go after that. So I've been studying a lot and kind of just trying to figure out these strategies. And man, it's crazy, but they're very. I think I could put together a test that I would encourage any solver-based professional PLO player to come take on, and they would get a lot of these spots wrong, which means that, right, humans are very far away from playing this perfect game when it comes to Nolan Hold'em or when it comes to pot limit Omaha, right? So I guess the other thing people are asking, right, is, well, he took time off, right? It's his site, okay? He's the one in charge of the site. Is something happening here? And while I think that is absolutely insane, right, the question appears to be coming up a lot more. So what do you got to say to those people up there, man? I mean, which makes sense, understandable, right?
Yeah. No, it's I mean, it's an unfortunate kind of inevitability,
right,
of playing challenges on Run It Once, which I wanted to do to bring more eyes to Run It Once and grow the site. You know, whether I kind of feel like anything other than me losing every challenge, like any other outcome, brings this question up.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what I can say. Like the way that a random number generator works, or like the way that it deals cards, like it just randomizes the deck and then starts with the button. So like you can't, like there's nothing you can do. Even if somebody wanted to, you can't like make that favor one player because it doesn't know who the player is. I mean, obviously anything can technically be done if you specifically like have your team do it, but it's just like, I don't know what I can say. I can say that, you know, I'm playing a lot of challenges. I'll be playing some challenges not on Run It Once. I mean, like I hesitate to say this because you know, Benny has been like, I don't want to like re-challenge, call him out, but if he's at all uncomfortable and wants to play on another site, like play another challenge, if he wants a rematch, he can have the same rematch. He can double the stakes. Like it.
You'll play basically, and that's my main. All right, you'll play anywhere, right? You were playing on
Yeah,
PokerStars in the time off. How'd you do? Right? You ever been the streets
I do
battling?
well. Yeah,
You,
yeah, I did better than on Run It Once. Certainly.
exactly. You played LeMay. You played I'm So Good, right? Debatably one of the top heads up players in the entire world. You played him the other day. Yesterday on PokerStars, 200, 400, 800
Yeah.
hands, right? How'd it happen? What happened?
Well, actually, that was a crazy session. I ended up winning 15K, but I was up like 160 or 180, and then but yeah, one small.
Exactly. Right.
But
So, and with that said, that doesn't necessarily mean that, okay, well, it just because
yeah,
you
it
went
doesn't
another
prove
site
anything,
doesn't
but
mean anything. Of course, things could happen. I can understand people out there, but it is an inevitability, as you said, right? Like the main goal is just to draw a promotional One at Once, man. You put up there and said, hey, I'll play these people. And they volunteered to play you, right? So they understand what's happening going into it. And that's just that's a risk that you take in the poker world these days. Anytime you play anywhere, is that something might be going down with situations like that. So
it's just
yeah.
yeah, it's like it's hard to say what do I have to gain, because like there is money to be gained, but like if I was trying to just, I don't know, make a bunch of money, I would have, started out by winning. If I wanted, if I was trying to do something, like, I don't know, it doesn't make sense to like the yeah, I don't know how to say it. I don't even want to say like if I wanted to do something unethical,
Right.
but
Well,
like
that's what people have been talking about, right? Like it'd be kind of dumb to do it this way. I mean,
yeah,
listen, you gotta be one of the maddest people in the entire world in the history of life. In some ways, to be like, all right, we're gonna put this
yeah,
on in front of, we're gonna promote it and try to get thousands of people
yeah,
watching on a continuous basis. You know what I mean? So it's I mean, you could just play, right? I mean, I don't know. It's one of these things you just play, like, but I get where people are coming from. But it seems to be coming up a lot in my comments. I'm like, all right, let's just kind of get Phil on here. Let's talk more about this. And as you said, right, we'll see in the future. You'll play matched on other sites, and
yeah.
you'll kind of see what take place if anybody wants to rematch you, whatever. Then kind of go from there. So I guess moving forward, it sounds like you're pretty locked in. It sounds like you have a pretty good schedule down in terms of just how you're operating on a daily basis to get yourself into that right mindset in order to get up there and play your best.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing okay with it. It is exhausting, but if you're going to get through these challenges, you just have to grind, because it's a lot of hands, and I want to get on to the next, obviously I'd like to finish strong and win this one, but I'd also like to like not leave all my other challengers waiting, and like not get to finish them. So yeah, I have to keep it up, keep
Mm-hmm.
grinding.
So you're pretty worried about moving forward, right? So you're kind of
Yeah.
looking ahead. It sounds like you're focused on a lot of different things then right now. You're not necessarily. Some people
Yeah.
might say like, oh, is Phil eat, sleeping, and breathing this challenge? But it sounds like you're able to shift your focuses to the family and shift your focuses to looking ahead as well too. And it sounds like yeah, it doesn't sound like you're super like over obsessed with the challenge right now.
I mean, yeah, it occupies my mind, but I do other things.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely a pressure. Like just the structure of a challenge is a lot more pressure than just playing poker for some reason at high stakes. Feels more like a tournament of sorts, which I always found to be higher pressure. But yeah, I mean, I do wish that I had a little more time. I've always wished that, but I'd like to get like some more studying in than I do right now, and be able to help out with the business more than I am right now. But I'd like to be able to helping out Farah more than I am right now. It's just I'm doing what I can.
Right. Yeah, I think it's real easy in these challenges as someone who's done some pretty crazy prop bets in the past where I was playing poker many hours throughout the day, to achieve these things I was trying to achieve. Your mind can become just 24 hours, 7 days a week. That's all you're thinking about the challenge, and it can become an
Yeah.
unhealthy way to live, an unhealthy way to be because you're super imbalanced and like it's just you're kind of in a chaotic state of mind. So very important when you're pushing yourself like this to be able to have that other outlet and say, okay, let me not think about this for a little while.
Yeah.
Let me clear my head of this, and that way when I come back tomorrow, I'll be strong, I'll be fresh, and I'll be mindful and yeah, I imagine that's to help you out a lot.
Yeah, I think family kind of forces that on you, and I think it's a good thing. There was actually like, it's funny when towards the end of pre-break, um, Farah and Spencer took a trip to the US without me, and I had like a week here alone. And I thought I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to grind. I'm going to study a bunch. And I did, but that was the time actually when I started to get off my, like, that was those last couple sessions where I was like, my mental game's not there. I'm not playing my best. I can't focus.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do think that the structure and the like doing something else does help. Absolutely.
What did you do in that time off, Phil?
I did more of the same. So, I mean, I studied, I played, I looked at solvers, I looked at vision a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like to do practice mode, which I know you've messed around with, but I like practice mode the best, and just did a lot of that for the spots that I found most challenging, which I won't specify because I still find some of them challenging. But yeah.
Listen, I mean, I don't want to talk about. I was playing a lot with vision. My God, that's one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Right? I'm like, oh my God, it's crazy.
It is really good.
But what you realize, this is what I've been learning, man, is like you don't know shit about PLO in some of these spots, right? Like, sure, we understand top of our range, we understand our best blockers, but we have no idea about these other like so many hands. So that was my big. I was like, oh my God, I'm like that was one of the most motivating things when I really first playing around the solver. And I was like, wow, this is crazy what it's doing with this part of the range. Like it's betting this hand, it checks this hand. To me, I just find this incredibly fascinating because I thought I had this PLO strategy figured out. And that's sort of why in the past couple of years, I'm like, well, I don't really need to, I don't like, what's the point of trying to get back to a point I was already at? Like, you know, I was already there. But then I was like, no, there's way more to learn right now. So there's so much to learn about this game right now with Nolan Hold'em, with Potland, Omaha, man, that I'm like fired up about it. So I've been putting hours in, kind of taking over my mind a little bit. Also, I'm trying to get ready for the Galfond challenge coming up here in the future. I mean, listen, Phil. I mean, I just don't. I don't know how we can't. I don't know how we can't play. I mean, I'm seeing what's happening. I go. I'm getting there, man. You know, I'm putting the hours in the lab to kind of get back there. Definitely not going to be the stakes that you and these motherfuckers are playing, right? We'll work something out for the fans. So I think it'll be a great time. So,
but yeah, I find it really like because kind of the advent of solvers kind of coincided with me working more on Run It Once and not playing poker as much. And so I mean, I didn't use them at all. And kind of my assumption was you just like, I thought people were playing closer to GTO than they are. I thought that people like had just been grinding these things all the time and are just like getting way, way better than me. And coming back and playing, I realized the reality is that nobody's close. And it's fun to look at all the things that the solver's doing, realize that you can't do it and that they can't do it either, and what the implications of that are. And so, yeah, I don't think I'll ever try to play optimal poker, but I'll learn from it for sure.
Right. I mean, I think kind of, you know, the idea behind the solver is that you try to understand better what the equilibrium strategy is with your entire range, right? And then from there, then you might decide, okay, well, if I think my opponent's playing this way and you have a very good understanding of how they might be deviating from optimally, then you theoretically would then be able to deviate potentially to win more money. But the idea of the GTO strategy to be able to figure that out is that it's theoretically unbeatable in the long run. But if your opponent's not playing that and you are aspiring to play that, but you aren't playing that, right? Like, and that's where a lot of people are at. So, and that's kind of the misconception about what the solver and what GTO is that if you play it and it's easy to play, right, to people, then you can't be beat. But as you said, right, it's only solved for these heads up situations. So once you start adding in more players, you can take, what's that word? How do they say this word? They've been saying this word a lot. Dylan, and they said it, I think, so who was saying on your thing too, on a video I was watching the other day, heuristics or something like that?
Heuristics.
Yeah. I'm just really learning this concept. I know a lot of people out there, like, they're geniuses. They know every fucking word. They already knew the concept. But I've been learning some of these concepts, and the idea is that you take away these concepts by studying multi-way, or by studying the heads up spots in the solver, and then you try to apply them to the multi-way spots. So I think that we're very far from these people playing optimally overall in all these settings, and that if you were concerned about what the implications are, I wouldn't be. That would kind of be my main takeaway from a lot of the work I've been doing lately. Do you agree with?
No, I feel the same way. I feel the same way, and it's exciting to me because I kind of thought that the future of poker, like from here on out, was just going to be that whoever studied the hardest was going to be the best. And that's not true at all.
Right.
is just like you can't emulate the solver, and doesn't matter how much you study it, you can't emulate it, or you can't do it well
until we get Neuralink.
until we
I'm
get
literally
Neuralink.
thinking like, I'm like, listen, Elon's going to come up with the
Yeah,
Neuralink, right? It's going to be linked to the brain. Then
yeah,
like,
that's true.
if you could know how to play everything, would you still want to? Maybe I'd put like 75% in, try to figure out the last 25%. I mean, are we turning off AI? I'm just like, what are we going to do in
Yeah,
10 years at the live poker table here?
that's true. I don't know enough about the technology, but hopefully it stays the way it is now. It's still very fun.
Oh yeah, it's still right. Isn't it a lot of fun playing Heads Up, Phil? How you enjoying it, man?
I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And like I've said this before, but I kind of and I've been alluding to it, but I never thought, like, I thought there was a pretty good chance I was never gonna be competing with top players again, just because of the way the game was going and the way my life was going, and my obligations and things like that. And now I, have some hope of competing with the best, and it's exciting.
Yeah, man.
I love the game.
It is a lot of fun. I'm excited. That's like the same way I've been. I can tell where I'm kind of feeling the same way. I've been studying so much, and there's so much great content out there. I mean, with multiple different sites that have great content, right? I'm sure most of the PLO stuff out there you're gonna be able to learn something from. But it just it's fun, man. Plus, online poker's booming a little bit. Obviously, Run It Once. I've been seeing some of the numbers on there. Phil, I don't know how you did this, but people don't play No Hold'em on there. They just play PLO, and I don't. I mean, and
PLO
like
traffic is so much better.
It's like that in some these underground apps I've been exploring as well. A lot more PLO than Nolan on there, but it's so rare on a public site to see that take place. And now we can, of course, debate that the marketing might not be targeting the two-card Pop Manoa players because they are clearly more abundant out there in the world. Or it means maybe there's no bots on there, right? Who knows what it really means? So, how you feeling about the traffic? How you feeling about the performance right now with what's taking place with with online poker and kind of the situation we're in the world right now?
Yeah, look, I can't complain. We've been growing a lot, like ever since November. The nice thing is that even before everybody started staying home, we'd grown a lot, from November to December, December to January, January to February, and then it's obviously grown a little bit more, along with every other poker site right now. But yeah, I feel like at a lot of stakes in PLO, we've kind of reached critical mass where people can show up and depend on games most hours of the day. At No Limit, that's not the case yet. Maybe a couple stakes they're usually running, like 4NL and 20NL are usually running, but the other ones are often not. And so we need to fill those games.
How are we going to fill those games, Phil? What are we going to do?
I don't know. What do you propose?
Well, listen, it turns out a lot of people love this No Limit Hold'em game, man. Let's give the people something excited, right? You got to think of, I mean, too much strategy for the podcast, right? But I think there's a lot of cool things you can do out there, man. I don't know. It's just fun. It's fun to see it grow. It's fun to see everything like that. It's fun to see people finally getting some hyped up about the challenge. Now today, we got people sharing the kind of excitement, and the community's kind of getting around it, getting support in the challenge as well too, which I think is pretty cool to see. Next step, maybe we get this some mainstream coverage. Maybe we get it up there. The Ringer talked about what happened with Apostle. What about one of the most epic comebacks in Poker Challenge history, right? I mean, I think we're all interested in kind of showcasing the positives that our community has rather than only focusing on the potential negatives in the community as well, too. So, I'm kind of excited. You got any plans maybe to get it out there in that level or anything like that? Has anyone got in touch with you or tried to talk more about it?
No, I've been like, I haven't been doing too much actively to try to make it happen, but I've kind of suggested it, that it should. And kind of hoping it comes back. But yeah, no, it seems like I did a little bit of asking around, and it seems like nobody wants to talk about anything except for coronavirus. Even like sports media, that's all they want to talk about. It's all people want to read about. But I mean, eventually that has to stop.
It's almost like it comes from one source, huh? They put up the message, hey, we're gonna push this amongst the mainstream networks, huh? I mean, I guess it is what it is, right? I think it's a lot about money, a lot about business, and that unless your story really, really breaks through and it's like this top, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about this a lot, right? Unless it's like a top line story from a genre or an industry that they've reported on in the past, unless it's like the top of the top of the top that happens to get in front of the right person, that's when it'll be shared out there. But unless you get it in front of that right person who reads it at the right time, you got to be spending some money on this sort of promotion. So, I mean, that's sort of the thing you take away when you understand how these companies and how these sports leagues and these big media companies promote themselves is it's all business. So
Yeah.
NFL and ESPN work together, NFL, NBA work together, and they sort of all promote each other. So that's like, you got to know the right people, it seems like, and to be able to get your message out there if you wanted to promote something like the Galfond Challenge.
Yeah.
So seems like challenge. Guys in the chat, I got Phil for a little bit longer, but he's got a meeting, so I told him we got to get on here. People are excited. Give me a few questions in the chat if you guys want to know something specific. And I guess, Phil, main thing, right? What would you say to all the people out there that are supporting you, man? Because you got a lot of people that are showing support, and obviously I know that that's going to make you feel some type of way, whether it's, happy, positive, try to stay indifferent. What would you kind of say to a lot of people out there that are cheering you on, rooting for you?
Yeah. I mean, it's a very, I don't know, warm feeling. I felt the support the whole way, especially, or not especially, but even when, I was getting crushed, there was a lot of support, people cheering for me. There were the naysayers, of course. Phil's washed up. Phil's done. What's he thinking? He's crazy. But like, there were always the supporters, and it's been, I was at the beginning very disappointed because so many people were rooting for me and I was getting crushed, and I was like, they were so bored. Like, they'd come watch the stream, I'd lose. They'd come back the next day, watch the stream, I'd lose. And I'm very happy that I've been able to give them a good show since then. And yeah, thank you very much to everybody who's supporting, especially everybody out there playing on Run It Once. And I mean, they're not doing it to support me necessarily. They're doing it because they enjoy it. But it's that's really my main goal. Like, my focus is poker right now, playing poker and getting as good as I can. But the point of all this was Run It Once. And so yeah, I appreciate everybody. It's been awesome.
Yeah, a lot of people want to know about how does it feel to have such a supportive wife up there, because you got Farah. I mean, she's going hard on the Twitter. People are really loving her, man. I don't know. They're like,
I really love her too.
They might like her more than you. I don't know, man.
I think, yeah.
People say, "Will Farah go on the pod?" Listen, we'll have Farah on the podcast. Okay, we'll get her on here. We'll talk with her. I'm sure once you guys get to know more about her, I think she's kind of like she is on Twitter, right? I don't think this is a persona, right? I mean, she's pretty.
No, she's very much like she is on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah, I think people will definitely enjoy that. So yeah. Richard says, Phil, what are you gonna? No, that's a long time away. What are you gonna do to celebrate when the challenger? It doesn't sound like you're taking much celebration. It sounds like you're just getting on the ball one after the other.
The challenge is not over. Like I haven't celebrated any wins because I don't know, the challenge is still going. Like, if I when this challenge is over, I'll probably celebrate either way, win or lose. Like, one challenge being done, I'll relax for one day and enjoy it. But yeah, there's still a lot of poker to be played.
5,000 hands. You ready? How many days is that? About seven sessions?
We're hitting like in the 600 some hands a day. So I guess it'd be like 8, maybe
8 sessions.
Yeah. Like 7 or 8, depending on how many. Yeah.
Might need to hop back in the commentary booth for down the stretch here, man. I did some comments the other day. It was very enjoyable. Had a great time doing it. A little out of line, but they called it out of line. I go, well, I guess I'll be a little out of line on the show. So, but it was a lot of fun, man. I really enjoyed watching it. The hands were coming in fast. I was just, it was a pretty good time in there, man. So, also, by the way, people keep asking me about Luke Shorts, right? So Luke Shorts obviously made some comments before. He stated multiple times on Twitter since then that Phil's an animal and he's the GOAT. Okay, so you guys can stop mentioning Luke Shorts, right? I think he was trying to generate some excitement, get some hype going for the challenge, right? I think, and we've seen the response since this has taken place. So, but people are asking me that a lot on social media.
Yeah. Well, Luke and I will play eventually. It'll be fun.
I cannot wait. Can you wait? I mean, I cannot. My God, it's going to be exciting when that happens. So, yeah, guys, in the chat. And by the way, you have not seen Tiger King, correct?
I have.
What? You have? How'd you see it? What?
Yeah.
Okay, give me a quick top 3. What the fuck moments from Tiger King, and then we'll wrap it up.
Well, spoilers and everything.
Okay, spoilers. If you haven't watched, we're not spoiling anything, honestly. Like, when you watch it, you won't believe it's coming, and when it comes, you're gonna. Yeah, spoilers. Actually, you're right. Maybe you don't want to. If you plan to watch it, do not watch this or watch the video that I'm going to be putting up soon.
Okay. I mean, the craziest to me still is just how casual and chill when she lost her arm. she's just like,
Still laughing.
you know, yeah, whatever. Got back to work. That's actually maybe top for me. Man, there's so many.
So you're telling me when the lady gets her, and this is fun. It's not funny, right? But it's just insane,
It's
right? The
not
lady,
funny, but she's
gets her,
so like,
and she's casual, but there was also, right, the guy's arch nemesis was accused of murdering her husband, and
yeah,
he made multiple
and
videos where he put a dildo in her mouth in a blow up doll and shot it in the head
yeah,
on fucking video. I'm like, and then also they show the security camera of his campaign manager he met in a Walmart where his husband shot himself in the head. I'm like,
yeah.
what the fuck is gonna? It's just it's one after the other. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, no,
here,
the hits keep coming. It's I don't know. It's like I didn't know these people existed, and
that was okay. Did you really not know? Because I was watching this and I was like, why are people so fascinated by this? Like, why am I so like fascinated? And you forget that in America there's just so many types of people, and even in the world, right? There's so many types of people that we're in our bubbles that we don't realize.
yeah.
Like, hey, there's like this Baba, whatever the hell, that Antil guy, like he's a doctor where he recruits
he's
18-year-old
something.
girl. I
Yeah,
don't like these people exist up there, and I think that we're
yeah,
so like locked into our worlds that we sort of forget this is going on out there, and it's kind of interesting from that perspective.
yeah. But yeah, that's still for me. Like I don't know. She acted as if she like sprained her ankle. That was the same. I would think that if you lost your arm, it'd be like a huge life event.
You wouldn't go back to work 7 days. So
I wouldn't go
if
back to work
tomorrow,
7
if
days
you
later.
lost your arm, you wouldn't come back and finish the Veni Vidi challenge 7 days from now.
No, I wouldn't.
Really not. And also, I think they said they get paid 160 a week.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, all the money. It was all. I mean, everything's crazy. That just stood out to me as like one of the things that was not as spectacularly, oh my god, but just casually, just I don't know.
Yeah, they kind of just
It was casually so strange.
they zoomed a few things by you. Like they didn't
Yeah,
expand on a few different topics, and I mean, I guess they could have expanded on all the topics. So, but that's it. We'll give you a few minutes of Tiger King, guys, and we're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna let Phil get on with his day. He's got a meeting up here. He's gonna spend time with Farah. He's gonna spend time with Spence. He's gonna spend time studying a little bit. If you guys smash that like button for more content, I'll be putting up a new Galfond challenge recap tomorrow, and then we got some Tiger King stuff coming either Saturday or Monday. But I'm kind of want to make this video. I want to see if I can make it pop a little bit. So we're gonna do a little test and make the video a little more optimized for the YouTube platform than I normally would for my poker stuff. So guys out there, much love. If you want to follow the challenge, get those results down the stretch here, you can follow Phil on Twitter at Phil Galfond, or you can follow Run It Once Poker as well too. They're updating every day, putting highlights on the YouTube channel, live on Twitch at Run It Once Poker. If you want to check it out, I'll be doing the updates. And shout out to my man Moonlight Master, always uploading those highlights 12:30 on the dot on his YouTube channel. The dude's a legend. So Phil, thank you very much, man. Good luck in the challenge. We'll be following along.
I'll do my best.
See you guys later.